Welcome to the show, Chad Harper. You are founder and CEO of Hip Hop Saves Lives, a hip hop artist, songwriter, educator, and music producer yourself, also a filmmaker, but you're most importantly a humanitarian. And your work started in Brooklyn, as we say, with the founding of Hip Hop Saves Lives back in 2006. You also launched a youth program in January 2012. Thank you so much for joining us, Chad, and please do tell us more.
Thank you, Tom, Skyler. Good to talk to you again, brother. Thank you for this opportunity.
For me personally, I'd just like to know a little bit more about Hip Hop Saves Lives. What was the inspiration behind that? What sort of thing does it do?
This was many years ago, back early 2000s. I was bartending in New York City, and there was an organization called Charity Water that came to this French lounge. I was the bar manager there, and so the general manager introduced me to this guy one day. He says, "Oh, this organization's having an event here. Their organization is called Charity Water. They do cocktail parties to raise money to drill water wells in Africa." I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." So me and the guy started chit chatting and started telling about the organization, and I was helping him set up the things at the bar. And I was just really moved and first, I guess, kind of overwhelmed about like how many people lack clean water in the world and die from lack of clean water and why there even is people that don't have access to clean water. So after that night, at the end of that night, I went up to the guy and I said, "Hey, listen, guys need any volunteers for your organization? Let me know. On my days off, I'd like to help out with your other events." So the guy said, "Sure." And they were a new organization at the time. I was one of their probably first 3 or 4 volunteers, and I was always a hip hop artist and always recording music. And I was like, "Wow, man, I really want to take all these stats and information that they present through these giant boards that they put up on the walls when they do events, take all that information and put it into a song. Okay. So people who don't come to the events can learn about them. And people who do come can take the song." And so anyway, I wrote that song, and I remember I called my mom and shared it with my mom, and she was like, "People who go to charity events don't listen to hip hop. So you make sure you print out those lyrics. So when they buy a CD, you can give them the lyrics." Yeah. I said, "Okay, Mom." But she was right. Yeah. And people were coming to the events and buying the CD, and the DJs was playing the song. So I was by the DJ booth selling CDs, and I'd always give them that piece of paper with the lyrics. And I remember this one lady, I gave her the piece of paper. She stood there and she read all the lyrics and she started to cry. And I was like, wow.
Powerful.
Never had somebody, never had someone cry from a song I wrote. And then another guy at another event, I gave him the lyrics after he bought a CD, and he was just reading the lyrics, and he goes, "How much is it to buy a water well?" I said, "$4,000. He put out his checkbook, wrote a check for $4,000 right there on the spot. What? Gave it to the organization.
Yeah.
So when he did that, I was like, wow, hip hop is saving lives. Because I knew that $4,000 was going to drill a water well somewhere in Africa. They don't have access to clean water. Kids won't have to spend their whole day fetching dirty water. So when I said that, it just rang in my head. Wow, hip hop saves lives. So that's where I got the name from. That was actually 2006 at Sundance Film Festival where that happened. The organization had an exhibit at Sundance Film Festival. So that's where the name came from. And then from there, I was like, okay, so what am I going to do now? So then after working with them for more events and selling more CDs and raising more money, I decided I wanted to continue. Because at that event, a lot of people, this is Sundance. You think people are famous. You think you're meeting someone. So people would come into the exhibit and learn about lack of clean water, buy my CD, ask me to autograph the CD, ask me, can they take a picture with me? And I was like, yeah, but I'm just a regular person. Like, I'm not famous. Like maybe other people you meet at Sundance. They're like, no, we still want a picture with you. We still want you to autograph the CD. So I was like, wow, like I've been making music for over 10 years now, and no one's ever asked me to autograph a CD or excited to take a picture with me. So I was like, maybe I'm onto something here. Maybe I should continue to write songs for like dope organizations that are doing great stuff for humanity. So I continued to do that. The next song I wrote was for my brother-in-law. He lives in D.C. with my sister. He had an organization called Break the Chain, which was about kids who have a parent in prison, or I don't know, 70% more likely to end up in prison themselves.
Wow.
So he had this program called Break the Chain. So I wrote a song for them called Break the Chain, and I researched all those statistics and stuff, and then I decided I want to go a step further. I want to do a music video for this song. So that was my first time doing a music video. So I got a crew together, I shot a music video, and my brother-in-law was like, "Wow, this is great. Let me know when you can come to DC. At our next event, we're gonna debut the music video." So I remember hopping on the bus from New York, going down to DC for this event, and they debuted my music video at the event on this giant screen. And once again, people were so excited to meet me, and and as the artist, you do the art because it's the creative music or whatever type of art form you're doing that's inside of you, and you want to get it out and share it and create it. But to get that reaction, for people was kind of like, it just kept, driving me like, this is the way I need to go with my art,
Mm-hmm.
I started doing events in New York City with other artists to get more support with other artists. And I created this campaign. Like, I think I did like maybe 3 events. I did one event for Haiti when Haiti had the earthquake to fundraise for Haitians. I did like maybe 2 or 3 other events. And then in 2011, I decided to go back to doing the songs for humanity about different humanitarians. But I wanted to do it with a collective. So I hit all my rappers, singers, producers. I hit them up and I said, listen, I'm blocking out 4 to 5 hours of studio time every Monday through Friday. So 5 days a week. Just show up at the studio from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And every day they would come through. Different artists would come through. Sometimes artists would come through that I didn't even know, that one of my friends told about, and this person would show up. And I was like, every day as a collective, we would write and record a song in those 4 or 5 hours about a different humanitarian. And then we'd look up their website and just send it to them as a gift. And I got incredible contacts through that. But what happened was, a friend of a friend knew a school teacher, and the school teacher had an after-school hip-hop program where kids just wrote rhymes. And he was like, man, we don't have the studio at the school, but you got the studio in Brooklyn. Can we come to one of your, can you do a Saturday session where I can bring the kids on the weekend and they can record songs about different humanitarians that they look up to? So I was like, cool, but on a Saturday I'm bartending, I can't be there, but the engineer will be there. She'll take care of you guys, whatever. So 3 kids came through. They all recorded songs. Monday, the teacher shares the songs with the principal. A couple of days later, the principal calls me up and he goes, man, this is the after-school program. You should be getting paid to teach kids how to rap about humanity and make songs. And I was like, okay. And he was like, send me a curriculum and I'll hire you.
Wow.
And I'm like,
amazing.
Yeah, I was like, at the time, I didn't know what a curriculum was. I had to Google it. I was like, I just said, yeah, sure, I'll find it. So I'm on Google trying to figure out what in the world is a curriculum.
Yeah.
So I made one up. I met with him. We sat and we talked. I think this was like November 2011. He was like, I want you to start at my school the first Monday in January 5th. And you're going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after school.
Right.
So I was like, wow, I'm getting paid to make music. It's not just like, let me take a picture. Can you sign the CD?
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy wants me to pay me to make music with kids. So
yeah,
You was doing positive music, right? Or
absolutely.
social conscious.
Yeah. Social conscious music. Yeah, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All the music that we were doing was celebrating the works of humanitarians or NGOs or just everyday heroes that did amazing things in tough situations. I was just researching all these stories. And through that research, I found these websites that literally just tell stories of amazing people across the globe. So you would just go on these websites and scroll through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So I took these websites, shared them with the kids at the school. I said, you guys go through here, pick a story that you like, that resonates with you, and then that'll be the song for the week. And every week we did a different song, a different humanitarian, a different story about humanity every week. And within like 2 or 3 months, those songs that we did at one school And funny thing is, that guy was Congressman Jamal Bowman.
Okay.
He
Wow.
owned a
Okay.
school in the Bronx at the
Wow.
time. He
Wow.
was the first principal to hire me.
Yeah.
He had a new school in the Bronx. I think the school was about 2 years old, 3 years old, and he hired me. So I worked with him for 4 years, way before he ever thought about being a congressman.
I wrote a tune called Positive Vibes, and
Mm-hmm.
we're doing a animation about it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and getting all these kids on. I sing Positive Vibes 21 times in the song. So I want schools from
Wow.
different countries. Every time I say positive vibe, boom, here's another school. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and these were 12-year-old kids. And they were like, it blew me away how inspired they was, And I said, you got to
Mm-hmm.
write songs that's going to help us, heal us, and educate us and
Right.
solve problems. And the kids, once they see some other kids like what they do, you know what happens, right?
Oh yeah. They're 110% in. You
Yeah.
know, I get to tell you stories of kids that were so shy, some of the biggest nerds in school, and they came into my after school program and they ended up being one of the best rappers. And all of a sudden, they went from being a nerd to like the cool kid and all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
everybody, shouting them out in the hallway, and like their
Mm.
whole self-esteem and self-worth change overnight,
yeah.
all from
It's
writing positive music.
it's so beautiful, man. I talked to about 300 kids one time, and about
Mm-hmm.
25 of them called me. They got back to me and said, "You know what? I get it. I wrote a social conscious song, and I played it for my friends, and they loved it, man. What you doing and what I'm doing is the same thing. We're
Mm.
inspiring young people to write lyrics that's not about themselves, about how we
Right.
can heal and help each other."
Absolutely. I just so I'm going back to New York in a couple of days for a conference called MMUN, Montessori Model United Nations. And they bring a couple hundred kids together through 5 conferences a year. And this conference is about no poverty, the United Nations SDG goal number one. So I just did like an hour ago. I was on a Zoom with 27 kids, and we started writing the song about no poverty. Um, so this is what I mean. This started in January 2012, and here we are, 2014, still doing the same work. Organizations are still calling me. I never thought that I would travel the world from making songs for humanity.
Mm.
I've been in a dozen African countries, over 20 European countries, Central, South America, Middle East, Asia, organizations who've flown me to Switzerland, flown me to India. It's just been such an incredible journey these
Yeah.
last 12 years.
Well, we're gonna team up, man, because like I said, there's never been a genre for social conscious music. This is starting the platform right here, Music for Global Change.
Mm-hmm.
But our main thing is to do festivals. And you can help
Okay,
us out with that because you see a lot of talent, you know what I mean? And these kids are trying to do
absolutely.
this kind of music and it's not the norm, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We want to do concerts with some excellent talent, writing songs about how we can heal each other.
That sounds beautiful. That sounds beautiful. I'm 100% in. 100%. Absolutely.
To add to this, what you've got planned coming up from this year onwards, you're going to launch a TV show, a full length show. So, can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes. So I've been doing songs and music videos, since 2012. And then 2019, I took a short break from doing the music and I got a job with this company out of Switzerland. They wanted me to travel different countries and do short documentaries
Mm.
about different humanitarians. I
Right.
could pick whatever humanitarian I wanted. So that really got me into the film. So then when I came back after COVID with my songs and music videos, working with the kids, I started to do interviews and do documentaries. And the first one I did was in Poland with children that were refugees from Ukraine.
Mm,
Man,
Wow. Okay.
that was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
deep.
powerful and very emotional 7 8 days I spent at this school in Poland in Warsaw. And these kids from Ukraine had so much strength. And it was only mothers and children, because if all men 18 to 60 were not allowed to leave the country, they had to stay in the country to defend the country. So you have all these kids who haven't seen their fathers, women who haven't seen their husbands in 6, 7, 8 months, pouring their heart out into these songs. And in these interviews, I mean, the interviews were really heavy. They ended up asking me not to release the documentary because it was so personal with them. They were really comfortable with me because I was spending 7, 8 hours a day with them. So they got very comfortable with it. But after it was over, they're like, it's too personal. Please don't release the documentary. So I just released the video, which is amazing.
I love this show because we get people like yourself that like, you know what? Ain't nobody else doing this. Let me try. Let me make it happen. Right.
Right. Absolutely.
So that I see why Karina introduced us, right? Because we're on the same path and we're going against the grain. I remember when I first started doing this 20 years ago, I said, I'm tired of these brothers killing each other. I'm all right about, put the gun down. That's how you can impress me. Put it down instead of pick it up, and man, when I went for it, it changed my life because I stopped writing love songs. And I can only write these kind of songs now. Love songs, when I hear them, here come another one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey man, it's really wonderful that you're here, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely, it's an honor, brother. It's an honor. Thank you.
How can people see it? Is there any way it's broadcast, and how can people, in the broader sense, how can people interact with what you're doing as a whole? Are you on sort of social media, that kind of thing?
Yeah, just to tell you a little bit more about the show, it's a music, travel, culture, humanity show. And I'm going into cities like, for example, I was in Morocco a couple of weeks ago, and I love Moroccan tea. I love the mint tea. I love the culture. So I went cafe hopping in Tangier, Morocco. So I kind of introduced the city of Tangier, talk about the history of the city, tell you a favorite thing of mine to do in the city. So you see me at all these different cafes. And then I introduce in the show the subjects. So there are a lot of people, Black Africans in Morocco, who traveled from many countries trying to get to Europe, trying to cross over into Spain. And I kept seeing these guys on the street, and I started to talk to them. I talked to a few from Nigeria, but I ended up really connecting with these guys from Cameroon. So I ended up interviewing three of these guys from Cameroon. And of course, the universe just aligned that 2 out of the 3 were rappers. So I said, listen, I always do music to push the story forward. So after the interviews, then we recorded the song, then we shot the music video, then I followed them to their neighborhood to get, B-roll of, the story of them and how they live and where they live and what they have to do to survive. They told me about Friday mosques in Muslim cultures, really big, day in Islam. So all of us Africans, we're just sitting outside the mosque trying to collect some change when Friday prayer is over. And this is one of our big hustles. So I get these stories, and now I'm in the Gambia, where a lot of Black Africans are trying to make this trip they call the back way, which is like saving money, and you hitchhike a little bit, you pay for rides, you get smuggled across borders, you got to walk through the Sahara Desert. And I want to educate them, like 90% of the people that go on these trips do not make it. Some of them die, but 90% get stuck in Morocco. And I show them, I want to show them through the interviews. They say it would have been better if I stayed in Cameroon, because struggling in Cameroon, at least I have my family, at least I have my people, at least I have my community, I have my culture. To be stuck in here in Morocco and be an immigrant who's illegal, who can't get papers to work, it's either like I met this one guy. He's tried 6 times and failed all 6 times. All 6 times his boat got intercepted. And he said, when the European guards intercept your boat, they know you saved up money, because you can't get on that boat without money.
Right.
So they take all your money, they take your cell phone, and they drop you back in Morocco in some random town where you got to walk 4 or 5 hours before you even get to a city.
Yeah, man.
So I want to really share this story. So that's what the first episode is going to be about, and people can find the story on the episode on hiphopsaveslives.tv.com.
Okay. All right.
But they have to sign up for a monthly subscription. So I'm doing a subscription-based service because, like, I'm not in New York City working for the schools and the community centers and the detention centers and all. Like, now, I'm funding this myself, so I have to, like, turn it into a business now. Yeah. Right. So it's just $3 a month to sign up for, to get these episodes. Doing a TV show is way different. Like, I can do a song and a music video in a couple of days.
Yeah.
I can sit with kids for 3 hours a day for 4 days, and the song and music video is done. But now I'm doing these episodes. I got to sit in these countries for a month and follow people around and get culture and get, all kind of stuff.
You soak up the energy and the education.
Are you otherwise on sort of social media or anything like that?
Yes, if you look me up on Instagram, it is Hip Hop Saves Lives. But I most of that, I put a lot more stuff on YouTube. So if you look up Hip Hop Saves Lives on YouTube, that's where most of my stuff is.
We'll put the links to those in the description of this video as well, so people can go off and find that.
Bless up, brother.
Thanks for joining.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Music for global change.
Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.